Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, we'll be making a baby headband with a bow and a rhinestone buckle. Let's grab some supplies and get started. The first thing you'll need is some ribbon. I'll be using a 3/4 of an inch wide Dupioni silk ribbon. You'll need a rhinestone buckle. We'll be using this for the center of our bow. These sparkly buckles come in different sizes. I'll be using a 1/2 inch buckle for this project. You'll also need some stretch elastic for your baby headband, something to measure with, sharp scissors, some felt for the back of the headband, and then, of course, my glue gun set on low. Okay, so the first step is to measure out our ribbon. We're going to be measuring out 3 separate pieces of ribbon. The first one will be 4.5 inches long. And then you'll need a piece that's 3.5 inches long. And then for the center piece that we'll be wrapping around the bow, a 2-inch long piece. Now go ahead and set the 2-inch piece of ribbon aside. And we're going to create 2 little loops with our 2 pieces of ribbon. So starting with my 3.5 inch piece of ribbon, I'm just going to line the very edge of the ribbon with a tiny bit of glue just to tack it into place. And I'm going to fold it up and around and create a loop. You can use any type of ribbon that you'd like to make this cute little bow. I really like how the Dupioni silk looked. Now grab your 4.5 inch piece of ribbon and create another loop. Once you have both of your loops glued together, you're going to lay them down, and lining up the seam in the very center of each loop, you're going to flatten it so that the seam is right in the very center of your loop. The seams will be on the back side of the bow. Now you'll be layering the loops on top of each other, so to make sure that they're centered, I like to take my little loop and fold it in half and pinch it firmly. This creates a guideline for me to be able to center the 2 pieces together. So I have the seam that I glued together on the back of the bow. I pinch it together firmly, giving me that little guideline, and then I can match the guidelines right on top of each other. And I'm just going to place a small dab of glue, very small dab of glue, just barely tacking this together, right on that guideline I just created, and then I match up the other guide right on top of that and just gently press those together and make sure that they're centered right on top of each other. So this is what it should look like at this point. I'm careful not to add too much glue as I'm tacking these together because I want my bow to be a little bit fluffy, and if you add too much glue holding it down, you won't get that look. Now grab your rhinestone buckle, and we're going to create the center for our bow. And you can see this buckle measures about 1/2 inch. Now you're going to thread one corner of your ribbon up through the buckle. If you're using a satin ribbon or a ribbon that is shinier on one side than the other, then you want to make sure that you're threading the shiny side of the ribbon so that it's facing up. Where the silk is the same on both sides, it doesn't matter which side we thread through our little buckle. So go ahead and center the buckle right in the middle of your 2-inch piece of silk. And now we're going to attach it all together. So find the center of the base of your bow and put a tiny dab of glue. I don't like using a lot of glue on this part because it smashes the buckle into the center of the bow, and we don't want that. So just a little bit of glue to hold it right into place, and center it in the middle of your 2 loops. And we will be trimming off a little bit of the 2-inch piece of ribbon here. I like having extra because it helps me wrap it around the bow. So once you have that tacked into place, flip it to the back and line the edge of the ribbon on the back of the loop with a little bit of glue. And then you're going to grab the end of your center and you're going to pull it firmly and tack it down onto that glue. So you'll have a little flap sticking up on the back, and you'll go ahead and trim that off. And then you'll follow those same steps on the other side. So lining the back of the loop at the base there with a little bit of glue and then pulling the center around the back. And I like to flip it to the front and make sure that they're even and that it's lining up nice. You don't want it tighter on one side than the other. And this just creates the center of your little bow. And your bow is complete. Now we just need to attach it to our elastic. So grab your stretch elastic. I will be making a baby headband for a 6 to 12 month old baby. To decide what size to cut your stretch elastic, please check out my downloadable link below on baby headband sizing. Decide what size you'll be cutting your elastic, and then just tack one end of your elastic with a tiny bit of glue. Loop the elastic up and around, making sure that it doesn't twist. And then grab your felt, and we're going to cut a piece of felt to go on the back of the ribbon. Now I cut a small rectangle that's about 1/4 of an inch by about 1/2 of an inch, and I want it to fit over the back of the ribbon, but I don't want it to show, so I kind of just trim it down so it matches up with the square on the back of my ribbon. And then line the back of your bow with a little bit of glue right in the center, and we're going to take our elastic and line up the seam or the part that you tacked the elastic together right over the glue. Hold that firmly in place, and once that's set, line the little piece of felt with a bunch of glue, and you're going to put it right over the back, holding the bow and the elastic all together and creating a nice soft base on the back of your baby headband. And that's it, guys. You're all set. You have this really elegant, sweet little baby headband. I remember seeing these at a fancy baby boutique. I believe I was in California somewhere, and really wanting to figure out how to make these. So these have been a lot of fun to figure out, and I made a whole bunch of them. I've got another niece due any day now, and I'm really excited to give her one of these. They were just a lot of fun to make. If you have any comments or questions, please post those below. Be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Check out some of my other tutorials, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.